So to me, it's a win-win-win. I mean, I don't see any problems. The plants have loved it. The plants have not rebelled against me. So I've had several people ask me about my Earthbox experiment with the not using the covers, not using the white covers, but using mulch as a cover. And let me tell you what, I'm excited about the results. As you can see, it's still in place. I thought it might roll off, blow off, whatever. It didn't. And if you'll remember, what I did was come in here, instead of mounting the dirt up like you do on an Earthbox in the middle, having an arch, about a 2-inch arch to roll that rain off, I accomplished that with mulch. I just put a layer of mulch on it and mounted it in the middle after I put my fertilizer, after I planted. And then I did an experiment of putting a water hose on top, and I watched the water just roll off like it would on a thatched roof or something like that. And I knew then that it was going to work, and it did. So here's the deal. It's still in place. It still looks just like it did. I mean, some of it may have blown off, but it still looks basically like it did when I put it on here. It has taken the place of that white $2 cover. Now, $2 doesn't sound like much, but when you add shipping to it, it gets expensive. If you buy 10 or 12 of them, you're going to pay $10 shipping on a $2 cover. So I will never put another cover on my, I hate to say never, I've had to eat never way too many times. It is my intention to never put another cover on an Earthbox because this works so well. So again, what I did was plant. I put the fertilizer strip down the middle because I've got 6 pepper plants in this 2 rows of 3, back row of 3. 6 pepper plants in this Earthbox, and just covered it up with mulch, piled it up in the middle. Rain sheds off, gets water retention, gets great evaporation control. I'm having trouble keeping them alive because we're over 100 degrees for the last I think it's 10 or 15 days, and it's going to be at least another week of it, if not longer than that. So I'm trying to keep these peppers alive. The tomatoes have just about all the determinate tomatoes are gone. A couple of the indeterminates are still kind of trying to hang on, but I don't hold out much hope for them. The only problem with it, and it's the same problem with the white cover, is refertilization. So since these hopefully will grow till frost, I need to refertilize them. Well, the other day I put some liquid fertilizer down the hole, and that's probably good. Probably did something for them, but I really feel like they could use a dose of a 10-20-10 or something like that. That granular that's going to last a little longer. Well, with the white cover, you can't do that unless you pull the white cover back and try to refertilize, put the white cover back on. So with this, it's even easier than that because I just dig a hole. Again, there's 2 plants, 2 plants, 2 plants. So I will dig a hole. I hadn't done it yet, but I'll dig a hole here between these 4 plants, and I'll put about 2 tablespoons of 10-20-10 down there, or triple 13, whatever. And then I'll come in here between these plants and do the same, and I may even do it on the outside. That way everybody gets their fill, gets the same amount of fertilizer, and just put a couple of tablespoons in each spot, maybe a spot here, here, and here. 4 places on these Earthboxes, and then still watering them every day on the drip system. So really a good, to me, it's been a great experiment. It has turned out great, turned out well. I am ecstatic about it. As far as I'm concerned, you'll never see another Earthbox with a white cover on it from me. I wanted you to see it and understand how well it's working, so you might could implement it in a fall garden or next spring when you plant. But worked great. Even if you have to go buy some wood chips, pine bark mulch or something like that in a bag, I think a bag would do. If your soil is fairly level, maybe an inch below the lip here, probably a good sized bag is going to do 2 or 3 Earthboxes, I would think. I get wood chips delivered, so this just came from the pile that I have. I don't see any downside. I don't see any downside to it. As you will remember in the video I showed you when I first did it, I ran the water hose on top of it when it was, had a good arch. Now I've already dug in this some, so it doesn't have that much of an arch anymore. But when it had that good arch, I put water on the top of it, and it just was not soaking in. It was, I mean, some of it I'm sure did, but it was basically shedding that water off like a thatched roof. So in my opinion, it works as well as the white covers, with the plus caveat of being able to come in here and dig down and do a little fertilization like you can't do on a white cover. You know, again, you're going to try to pull that back, and you're only going to get back this far, and you're going to have to reach under there and try to fertilize. So unless you're on the edges with a couple of tomato plants, then you can fertilize on the edges. I don't see, man, what am I missing? Am I missing the downside? I don't see it. This has worked great. I'm going to highly recommend it to you, and maybe you can get you some wood chips and give this a shot for your fall garden or for your spring garden next year. Just don't forget about it for your spring garden next year if you have EarthBoxes. Now, if you have wicking tubs, I did the same thing with wicking tubs. I didn't really mound in the middle. Maybe I did a little bit, but I put 2 tomatoes in a wicking tub and just covered that up to the brim, and maybe mounded, I really don't remember, with wood chips, and they work great too. They kept most of the weeds out. On occasion, you'll see a weed come up. It was a seed that was already there, a seed that blew in or something like that. And if you get it when it's small, then you just pull them out. It's nothing to weeding one of these things. Sometimes I would forget to do that, and I'd let them get too big. Then you got to yank out that and try to not to yank out a big old plug of your expensive dirt. One of the pluses, obviously, is water retention, water shedding, which you want in an EarthBox. But one of the another plus, probably maybe the biggest plus, is these wood chips are breaking down and forming compost. So with a white cover, you're not adding any compost. You're just adding a white cover to it, and it's plastic, and it'll never be anything but plastic. But with this is all becoming compost. I can dig down in there where it should be wood chips, and I can bring up composty like soil. There's wood chips there, but it's also, you can see that it's breaking down into compost. So to me, it's a win-win-win. I mean, I don't see any problems. The plants have loved it. The plants have not rebelled against me. I had the best garden I've had in a long time till this heat took over. And hopefully I can keep the heat off with the shade cloth and stuff, keep the heat off these peppers enough to just get them past the next 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe they'll live till frost. I hope so. I'm going to show you one way or the other. I'll show it to you. But mulch your EarthBoxes, mulch your wicking tubs. I think you'll come out ahead on that, and you're just adding compost to your soil, keeping the evaporation from being too severe. It's a win-win. So I just saying, dadgum, do it, and just somebody asked you, well, because TP2 told me to. Anyway, give it a shot. I think you'll like it. I think you'll appreciate the fact that it really helps your plants. It helps everything, all the above that I've just talked about. I am sweating. It is hot out here right now. All right, I think we're done. I'm going either do another video or in the house. We're gone.